Yes, welcome back to the Tony Scott Internet Show. Hope the weekend was great for you. I'm not complaining about mine. I didn't spend any money. I don't have any money. So it works out. When you don't have money and you don't have to spend money, that's normally that's a pretty good day. When you have money and you don't spend money, that's a great day. You know what I'm saying here? The Rams, no. They looked bad yesterday against Kansas City. I got to be real honest with you. You know, I'm a hometown guy, right? Though my Rams, I'm in St. Louis, and the St. Louis Rams are my team. My main team. But Kansas City got them and got them good yesterday, 34-7. Rams looked just sloppy. They looked uninspired. They just looked out of sync. They looked like they were not ready to play football yesterday, and it showed in the final score. Again, 34-7. Now, one of the disappointing things over the weekend that I feel like I need to tell you about. I follow a lot of people who are in the movement going on here in Ferguson. And one of the things, and I spoke about this before, I just do not like to see these public spats on social media between Mike Brown supporters. In my opinion, it needs to stop because the world is watching and commenting about just how unorganized and how the infighting is, whatever it is. It needs to stop. You guys need to take that off social media. You guys need to get in a room and hash it out like grown people do, like adults do. Don't comment on social media, man, because that's like airing your dirty laundry in public. And this, given the stakes of what's going on here, and in a way, Mike Brown being murdered, it's bigger than that. I mean, and I'm not just trying to disrespect Mike Brown or his family. They lost a son, but the movement has turned into something else, which I think to some degree is a great thing because enough is enough of how police treat African Americans. But the infighting that goes on social media it's heartbreaking, man, when you're really pulling for these organizers and these young folks who say this isn't your parents' civil rights movement. And you know what? You're exactly right. It's not. It's not. And you guys do some great things, but on the other hand, you guys have missteps. And this isn't the first, second, or third time that this kind of thing has happened on social media, and it just breaks my heart. I mean, it really does. It needs to stop. Call a meeting. If you got beef with another faction of the movement, have a meeting, hash it out. Let's get on the same page and move on. That's how I would look at it. Oh, man, it's frustrating. It really is. This nurse who was quarantined and is not happy about it. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that. Her name is Casey Hickox, and she was placed under mandatory quarantine in New Jersey. She went on CNN yesterday and she criticized what she calls the knee-jerk reaction by politicians to Ebola, saying to quarantine someone without a better plan in place, without more forethought, is just preposterous. That's a quote. She was working to help treat Ebola patients in Sierra Leone, and she has tested negative twice for Ebola and doesn't have any symptoms, she says. This is extreme. It's unacceptable. My human rights are being violated. And I guess unless you're in her shoes, you wouldn't know what that feels like when you're told, nope, you're going to be here for 3 weeks. You know, and the hospital released a statement say, hey, you know what? We brought her reading material. She got access to a computer. That's not the same thing, man. That's not even close. But what about being better safe than sorry? You know, do politicians need to stay out of the Ebola thing? Yeah, they do. They do. But we do need them, though, to some degree to help us pass legislation for whatever reason, funding, quarantine, whatever it is, we do need that. But at the same time, we need to understand something about Ebola. And no one, I've asked several people over the weekend, I talked about this last week on the podcast, that I don't understand how there is no cure for Ebola, and yet some of these folks have been determined to be Ebola-free since they've been treated. Well, does that mean they've been cured? Will the virus always be in them and can become active at any time? Is it one of those things? I don't know. And a lot of people don't know. And to me, the CDC doesn't know. And doctors who study this don't know. They may know better than you and I, but I don't think things like this are an exact science. And to top it all off, we were not prepared for this. Let's just be honest. We were not prepared for Ebola in the United States. We were not prepared for Americans working abroad for whatever reason getting Ebola. We were not prepared for that. So we're stumbling through everything, fumbling through everything, and here we are. And Casey Hickox, who's a nurse, again, who was working with patients in Sierra Leone, is being quarantined. She's mad at the governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, because he said she was obviously ill. She says, I am not obviously ill. I'm not ill at all. And she wants out. Do we let her out? Or does she have to wait 21 days? Or how many days that are left in her 21-day quarantine? I don't know exactly how many days are left, but do we let her out or does she have to wait? I mean, what would you say? If that was on your desk, it was up to you to let her out or to keep her in for 21 days, what would you do? What would be for the greater good? Does the greater good trump her human rights, as she says, being violated? If it turns out after 21 days that they keep her, if she wants to seek legal recourse, then go for it. I understand. I hate to say I understand because I don't, but I being held for 21 days against your will for being what they think you might be sick, but you don't feel sick, and you've taken 2 tests about this sickness, and both of them come back negative. I could see where you will want to be free. You want to be able to get out the hospital. But the greater good, that's my thing. I don't know, man. It's interesting. You guys want to comment on any of this, you can leave comments in the comment sections on YouTube and Facebook, and also on Talking 360. Where the hub of what I do is posted and things like that. So I read yesterday where Illinois Governor Pat Quinn and his challenger Bruce, is it Rauner, went to black churches to speak. See, I resent that. I resent when politicians go to churches to speak, and I resent that because that's the only time these politicians want to speak to black churches. Is when they're up for re-election or when someone's running for office. Is Pat Quinn ever going to be at a black church ever again? No, unless he's running for office again. That bothers me. That really, I just think folks are being used. The church is being used. Is it a platform where they can reach the masses? Yes, it is. But you only come when you want something from them. When they want something from you, you'll send an aid or a letter. And to me, that's just messed up, man. That's just wrong on so many levels. I mean, it really is. It stinks, it sucks, and all that stuff. I just think that has always bothered me. So-and-so spoke at a church today. Yeah, and you won't ever see him again unless he decides to run next time there's re-election. I don't know. It just really gets to me. It really does. That man, we all saw the video. In fact, I talked about it, and I posted the video, talking360.com, when it happened maybe a little over a month ago. In South Carolina, a man pulls up in his SUV at a convenience store. And he gets out, and a cop pulls up behind him and says, I need to see your license. So the guy, his license in the truck, he turns around and gets it, and the cop yells at him, get out, get away, or whatever. And he shot the dude. This was in South Carolina. The state trooper shot the man. And the man is laying there on the ground saying, why did you shoot me? And he says that you dove back into the truck. And first of all, he didn't dive back in the truck. He reached back in the truck for his license. You assume because he was black, Mr. State Trooper, and was reaching into his truck that he was coming back out of a bag and get ready to shoot at you. So you shot him. Well, the state trooper was fired. And he's up on charges and may do some time. Even the South Carolina state troopers, even they say he overreacted to a situation that was not a situation. So he's in deep. Well, the man, LeVar, Jones was on the Today Show recently and spoke to Matt Lauer about what he would like to see happen to this trooper.
I really feel he needs to be charged with something that holds felony status. That way he will have to sign the Gun Act, will no longer be able to carry a gun, will no longer be able to be a police officer.
And that's just one thing that also needs to happen to Darren Wilson. If Darren Wilson is not indicted, Darren Wilson should not be allowed ever to carry a gun or to be a police officer anywhere in the United States of America. This South Carolina trooper who got fired for shooting Mr. Jones needs that, at the very least, needs to not be able to be a cop or be able to carry a gun anymore. At the very least. That is horrible what he did to that man. That man's walking with a cane now, still trying to recover from being shot. He got shot in the hip. I think he got shot more than once. And that's just, no, we just can't have that. And since we're talking about shooting, what about the story about the grandfather who shot 3 armed men in North Carolina? This happened, I believe, last Monday night. They had intentions of raping his 19-year-old woman and robbing the family, but they were not prepared. And robbers usually are not prepared. They allegedly knocked on the grandfather's door at about 10 o'clock on Monday night, stormed and demanded money when he answered. They were armed, wearing black clothes, ski mask, and gloves. The grandfather, who was 67, and his wife were taken to the back of the house in order to open a safe. Then they tried to gang rape his granddaughter. Now, they don't know where Grandpa got his gun, if it was in the safe or he had it in his waistband or whatever he did, but he shot all 3 of them. He got shot too. They fled in his Cadillac. 2 of the men went to a hospital for treatment. Police found the 3rd guy, a 20-year-old, dead in the Cadillac. The grandfather was airlifted from one hospital to the other. Now, these other 2 guys are going to get charged with the murder of the 3rd guy. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe they don't have that law in North Carolina. They have it in Missouri. I got no problem with that. I've got no problem with them being charged with the murder of their friend, because what were they trying to do? We'll make excuses. Oh, but they didn't pull the trigger. They didn't shoot him. That old man did. But that old man only shot all 3 of them because they broke into his house, demanded money, and were getting ready to rape his granddaughter. What would you want your grandpa to do if that was your sister they were trying to rape and they kicked in your grandpa's door? What would you want to happen then? They shouldn't get charged. They should get charged with robbery. Shut up. Just be quiet. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I do not want to speak to you right now because you are making no sense at all. I'm just saying that's ridiculous. Yes, they need to be charged. Absolutely, they need to be charged. That's a horrible thing. Hey, coming up in less than 30 seconds, I got to tell you about Puffy. I got to tell you about a man who was trying to get some money for pest control from the city government. And I got to tell you about a woman who had a baby and she didn't even know she was pregnant. All that coming up on the Tony Scott Internet Show. Hold on.
Do you want to reach an audience that you haven't tapped into yet and not blow your budget? The Tony Scott Internet Show is new, growing, and available to you. Advertising on the Tony Scott Internet Show is extremely affordable. Contact us at advertise@TonyScottShow.com.
Welcome back to the Tony Scott Internet Show. A couple things. We got a new Men on Scandal that we put up on Friday. So if you want to check it out, go to menonscandal.com to get a recap of the episode The Key. Pretty good episode, too, of Scandal last week. So that's up. Also, what else do I have up? A couple weeks ago, I do these walking vlogs where I walk around in my neighborhood or at a park somewhere, or maybe somebody else's neighborhood, and I talk about a lot of different things. And a week or so ago, I was talking about the perils of unemployment from my perspective. I got so much feedback for that, asking me to do more. So I put up another one that I actually put up yesterday. If you want to check that out, you can check out the Tony Man at talking360.com. And watch it to your heart's content. I appreciate it. It helps out a lot. So Citibank is suing Puffy and Justin's mother, Puffy's baby mom, number one. What's her name? Misa Hilton Brim. And apparently, I think most of us know about this drama about this house. So he co-signed for her house with the understanding that she was responsible for the monthly mortgage. And apparently she got behind and Puffy wasn't going to pay it because he says, I didn't tell you I was going to pay it. I co-signed for you. And it hasn't been paid. So like, I don't know, like $600,000 plus interest is owed. It hasn't been paid since like 2010. And Citibank wants their money. Puffy goes, hold up, man. I just co-signed. I ain't responsible for it. And the bank goes, yeah, you are. And I guess legally, I guess he is, right? This is why we're not supposed to co-sign for anybody. This is the first thing when you forget your first credit card and you tell an older person, hey, I got my first credit card. They say, don't co-sign for nobody, man. And don't let nobody use that credit card. I've said that to younger people. I told my oldest daughter that, don't do that. You don't co-sign for anybody because in effect, I think you're saying they signed for it and you signed for it too. So I guess in effect, you are responsible for it. Are you not? If I'm Puffy, I reach into my sock and I pull out, the $700,000, the $600,000 and plus interest, and I pay it off, and I tell Misa, you need to go get a condo somewhere, like something you can afford. You need to get something you can afford. That's what I mean. Does he need to do that? Because this is crazy. Wow. I would not feel comfortable in anybody co-signing anything for me, especially at this point in my life. Now, if you want to, I wouldn't stop you, but I couldn't. No. But everybody has their reasons for doing things the way they do them. This is a mess. Puffy wants to be dismissed from the lawsuit, and Citibank says, no, not here, Junior, not today. A roach embarrassed an official in Chicago who's in charge of pest control. It took a stroll near him in front of the alderman, and it may have cost everybody. The Fleet and Facilities Management Commissioner David Reynolds had his office call a private contractor to come down to City Hall and do some exterminating. Right? Just as David Reynolds was testifying during a budget hearing, Alderman Brendan Riley says how much money in the budget is devoted to pest control. And then here comes the roach. Everybody started laughing. What else can you do? It's just talk about bad timing. That's not cool at all. And in Iowa, I don't know, a couple in Iowa are new parents, so congratulations. And they found out they were having a baby when the woman went into labor. I guess it's possible that a woman can go 9 months and not know she's pregnant. Hell, anything's possible. Is it probable? I don't know. I'm not a woman. They say until she walked into the emergency room, she had no idea she was even pregnant, much less, at full term, ready to deliver the child. She says, I was stunned. It didn't seem real at all. Now, 5 years ago, her husband was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. And he went through chemo and had relapses. He was told he'd probably never become a father because of everything. And so they just went at it. So I guess if you look at it like that, and he's the only one she's been with, biblically speaking, then if he can't have any children because of all he's been through because of his cancer, then, when you're making love, you don't give it a second thought. Well, we're not going to have a baby, but we still love each other. We're committed to each other, and I still think she's hot. What? And then she goes to, I got stomach pains, they won't go away, and she goes and, is it possible you can be pregnant and not show? I think I can wrap my head around it's possible you can be pregnant and not have morning sickness and not have sensitive nipples, things like that. You can get that whole process. I guess that is possible that can happen. But can you be 9 months pregnant and not even show? Now, understand if you're a large woman, then you may not know that that you're pregnant. You may not know. Other people may not know. I don't know. Am I getting myself in trouble here? Am I digging myself in deep? Well, the baby is 7 pounds, 14 ounces. And they're happy to have their baby, and I'm happy for them. I just don't know if that's even... obviously, it is possible because it happened, right? What do I know? I'm going to leave it right there, and thank you so much for listening to the Tony Scott Internet Show. I do it every day. Hopefully, you'll listen to it. Hopefully, you'll share it. Hopefully, you'll post it so I can get some traction over here and pay some bills. Could you help a brother out with that, man? Subscribing to the YouTube channel is everything. All right, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it, though. I say that almost every episode of how important it is for you to do these things, and you do. And I do want to say thank you for that, all right? Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.